we get to talk about all of the issues concerning the students and talk about their opportunities to get into school, and not just here but outside. Okay, and last weekend we were talking about cultism, and I told you that we will continue that discussion because it was such a short period of time to discuss such huge issue. All right, like we always start with our educational quote, and this one says, we are at a point where we must educate our children in what no one knew yesterday and prepare our schools in what no one knows yet. All right, so I formally welcome you to the program Students Scholarship. Okay, a caller told me, last weekend, about even cult activities going on in in our areas, not just in schools. It goes on in our areas, and I want us to discuss that really. And what are the measures that should be taken to curb this menace, because it has become a huge cumbersome issue, because parents, when they send their children to school, they are wondering what is going to happen to the child. Is my child stay safe being in the campuses? And we are going to be looking at ways of preventing cultism in our schools, and we are going to be looking at the consequences of cultism on our society, and on the individual and in our society. All right, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Before I open up my phone lines, I'm going to let you in on some of the consequences of cultism in our society, because when we talk of all these things, it just, people don't take it seriously unless it happens to them. Nobody takes it seriously, as long as it's not happening to your child. Oh well, it's all right. But it's not, and it doesn't just happen in schools. I know sometime, I heard sometime last year or something like that, where they were burning people alive in Lagos, that they were part of a cult group called what's it called? Bado. Yes, that they were smashing people's heads, and just these horrible things. And you'll be asking yourself, like, what do people really gain from all of these things? Nothing. Nothing. As a young person, you go into school or you go and join these things, like, what do you expect to gain from these things, from joining such a violent group or a violent what do you intend to gain? Because when you weigh it, some people, is just the power, like, nobody is going to mistreat me while I'm in school. For the period of, it doesn't just end in schools. You hear stories of, even when the person is out of school, the person is married, some of these guys still go as far as going to eliminate the person even when the person is out of school. So all hands must be on deck to do something about this. Last weekend we talked about what shouldn't there be a law. It's not just about expelling the student. We shouldn't just expel the student. When you expel, well, the person can go somewhere else or in another school and register and continue the act. There should be a law, a bill passed in our, in the national assemblies and all, so that to make sure that when somebody is caught practicing cultism in any level at all, such a person should be prosecuted. Such a person should and must be persecuted. So we are going to be looking at some of the consequences. There are so many, but we're just going to be looking at some of them. Loss of innocent lives. That is number one consequence. Because when these things happen, they start shooting, somebody, a stray bullet could just go and hit an innocent person, or, just so many things. Really, so many things. An innocent person is affected by the act of some people who don't know what they were sent to school to do. So, we must do something in order to make sure that innocent lives are secured. All right? Okay, I'm going to open up my phone line so that you can also call me and contribute to the program. The number to call me is 081-8999-1011. That is the number to call me. Call me right up. Let us rub minds together and find a way out of this menace. All right. Hello? 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 Okay, call me right back on 08189991011. And another consequences of cultism on the society. Hello? Hello?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Yeah. Fine, thank you.
All right, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Mike Dennis from Cuba.
Michael from Cuba. Michael, how are you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
All right, let's go right ahead.
The court issue is much. Even sometimes you get them arrested and take them to the police station before you know what is happening. They are out of there. I don't just know the kind of power those guys have. That if like the local vigilante in our area arrested some of them at about 12 midnight.
Wow.
They are holding meeting or something like that. Took them to the police station. After 2 days, they're out. I don't just know why.
Oh my goodness. And imagine you who, the person who goes to report and you're hoping that something is going to be done. You just find out that such a person has been released from the police station, which creates more, dangerous environment for you who has gone to make a report.
That is just a big challenge we even have now.
Wow.
Sometimes you see them, you don't even know who to report to. At the end of the day, they're out, your life is at risk also.
Oh my goodness.
So just pray the government do something about it.
Definitely. With one voice, something will definitely be done about it. Thank you so much, Michael, for calling in. All right. Okay. And another consequences of this cultism in our society is the destruction of valuable properties. I don't know if you have witnessed where these guys are, do their rioting and all of that. They destroy things. They destroy things. They could smash car windows, they smash things, break bottles and all of that. And you just keep wondering why. What do you derive? What kind of joy, what kind of thing do you derive from doing all of this, behaving like, even animals have better behavior than when you watch some of these people, the way they behave. They destroy properties. They go ahead and destroy properties. They go ahead and cause so many nuisance in our society. So that is one of the consequences of cultism in our society. And another consequences is increase in crime rate. Okay, they make themselves vulnerable. They make themselves available for some crime perpetrators to use them to, perpetrate a lot of crime in our society. Really, because when somebody is going about carrying a gun, trying to intimidate other people, even hurting other people, they just make themselves available and crime is on the increase. Crime is just on the increase. They use these guys to go and do so many horrible things to other people. So something should be done. Just like my caller just said, that you arrest them and before you know it, they are out of the police station. And the next thing is to start hunting the people who went to report to the police. So it's more or less like see no evil, speak no evil. Even when you see them, you are afraid of your own life, that you don't know if these people are going to come after you go to report. So something, definitely certain measures has to be taken in order to ensure that people are safe in their environments and not just in schools. And there are other consequences on the individual who is even practicing this act. Okay? It's death. What's the whole supremacy and power struggle for? They start killing themselves, and it leaves a huge pain on the parents, on the family and friends of these people. All they do is just a struggle for power. Who is more superior? Who is more this? Who is more that? They start killing themselves. And then it's such a shameful thing that in our schools, it could be happening outside of the schools, but our schools don't provide enough security to make sure that all of the students are well protected. If all of all the students are, or all the schools provide enough security, when you find that even lecturers, you'll be surprised that some lecturers are involved in this cultism, not just the students now. Some lecturers are involved too. So when you go to report, you know what's coming to you. So certain measures must be taken to make sure that this menace must be curbed. And another consequences on the individual is, for the person to be permanently deformed. When they start using all of these weapons to, hurt themselves, and they start using gun, cutlasses, and knives to, haunt themselves, they give themselves permanent deformity. So you send a child to go to school, what does the person do? Join one cult or the other, and then what happens? They come home permanently deformed. So these are the consequences, and people should weigh these things before somebody trick you into joining any funny group that you are not clear on. All right, the number to still call me is 08189991011. Hello. Okay, I'll still be expecting your calls. All right, so there are effective ways might not be so effective, but hey, it is a step in the right direction for preventing cultism in our society and in our schools. And number one way of preventing it is adequate and effective security in schools. Need I tell you more about the importance of security, not just in our schools now, people, because even outside of school, when you are not safe in an environment, anything can happen. But when a school provides adequate, effective security, these guys would know that, the place is not that free for them to run open. It will help to cut it down. So schools must provide adequate security to protect their students. And another one is a proper campaign. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Princess Bella.
Princess Bella?
Princess Bella Ike.
Okay, Princess Bella Ike. Bella, how are you doing this afternoon?
I am fine, thank you.
All right, dearie, talk to me.
I'm I'm just calling to tell you that I missed your program for 1 week and I've been sick since then.
Oh, oh my goodness. How are you feeling now?
I'm feeling better.
Oh, great. I'm so glad that you are all better and welcome back. Okay. Do not stay away for a long time anymore. All right.
Okay, thank you very much
All
for
right. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
that.
All right. Okay. So, back to the subject matter. Another way of preventing cultism in schools is proper campaign on the negative effect of cultism. Okay, people should be properly enlightened on the negative effect of all of this. Really, because I feel like why it's still happening is because a lot of people are not enlightened. They are not educated on what is, the consequences of this, of their actions. So proper campaign should be done. Individuals should at all level in this society should put all hands on deck to curb this menace, really, because a lot of lives, innocent lives, are being wasted because of this evil and violent act. All right, another way of preventing cultism is good parenting. Last weekend I talked about it starts from the home. It starts from the home. What do you tell your child? What do you teach your child? Some parents don't even care. They go out, they come back late, and they just leave the child, they put them in school, give them the money that they need, and, well, every other thing should take care of itself. You have to teach your children from a very young age. Inculcate certain, discipline in them that no matter where they find themselves, they will never do otherwise. There are certain things that my mother has taught me. No matter where I find myself today, I will look at that thing, I'm like, no, I cannot do this. I just cannot. I wasn't raised to do this. But some parents just, well, anything goes. They just leave the kids. They leave them in school. Put them in school, they get admission, give them money, well, sometimes they don't even call their children to check up on, them. They believe, well, they're in school now, everything is good. So you have a responsibility as a parent to do the right thing. It's not just to bring children to the world and not, and not help them, to groom them to become better people in the society. Because, hey, when they join all this, they become even a threat to you, too. You've not heard when some cultists came to look for a boy in their own house, they didn't find, and they killed the parents. So you have a responsibility as a parent to do your own part for your child. All right, and another way is for the children to avoid bad company. Really? What are the kind of company that you keep? What company do you keep? You go to school, you start following some people who leave their school activities to go drink and smoke and do all of those things, and you think it's cool. You're following the cool people. That's not cool. That's a road to destruction. You as a young person, you get admission into school, that excitement, hey, you're finally free, especially if it's in a public school that, well, you feel like nobody is going to restrict you from doing certain things. You're now on your own. You better watch out of that freedom. Be careful. Watch the company you keep, because when you start following bad friends, you start following this kind of people, it gently, slowly start leading you away from the things that you were supposed to do. You find yourself, or you're no longer as involved as you should be in the school activities. You leave school activities and start going to parties, start going to some silly gatherings that will never add any value to your academics. So you must avoid bad company. I wish I have more time because I could talk about this like as long as we just need to do something about this. And another way for us to curtail this cultism or prevent it is for there should be a severe punishment. Hello? 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 Hello, caller? Hello? Okay. Like I was saying, there should be a severe punishment for cult activities. Our authorities at all levels must make sure that they put out severe punitive measures out there, okay, on the act of cultism. Because when an example is set, a caller told me that, hey, there you report and in a few days you see the person roaming on the street. If you catch those ones and use them as and set examples, the rest will see this and call themselves to order. But because there is nobody is being, you see some politicians using these boys as thugs, you give them guns and like, do you take away these guns after elections and all? You don't. You leave them, they start haunting people, doing certain things, and the certain measures should be taken. They should be punished when somebody is caught. Last weekend we talked about in a school, when you catch this, don't just expel them. They should be made to face, the law. After expelling them, they go to another school and start up the whole act again. Our society is not safe if we continue overlooking certain things that must be, looked into adequately. There should be a law that states when somebody is caught doing this, maybe spend a reasonable amount of years in prison so that others would know that when they are caught, they're not just going to expel you. You're going to make to face the law. These things must be done in order to have, to make our society very safe for everyone. Like I said, I wish there were enough time for me to talk about this, but hey, it's 2 minutes to the hour of 2 o'clock and I really, really have to go. I hope that we have learned a thing or two about this, and I hope that you who are listening to me, if you see something, we just have to continue doing the right thing. Report any funny activities that we see around us. You will be like, yeah, I report and nothing is done. We will keep reporting. We will keep speaking until the right things are done. That's our job as individuals, as citizens. We have to speak up. You have to speak up, and the authorities must have to provide security for the people who are going to report, because you don't just, after reporting, you leave the person and they come back and start hunting the people who went to report. No. Let somebody be safe. If I'm staying in an environment and I'm not safe, hey, really, we really need to be our brother's keeper. And when something happens, it should not be treated with levity. All right? Okay, I really, really have to go, but it was a great time today with all of you, and I'm so glad that you tuned in. I'm sorry I couldn't take so much calls because there was so little time to talk about so many things, and I'm glad that you stayed glued to your radio to listen. Till I come your way again next week. My name is Noella Paulson. Have a great weekend.